I am Santa as commonly conceived, and I am knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door in a run of the mill workplace accident that's about to bring my long and storied career to an end. It's unfortunate, of course, and I have nobody to blame but myself. Don't make the deliveries yourself and all that. Take at least 40 of us with you. You trust these things to tell you what to do when you're too foolish to follow your own protocols, but after 2 millennia, you get cocky. You retain that forgetfulness that stalked you through Mongolian nights and Mexican mornings, and the holes align and the eventuality happens. Not even in a house either. You pull over to stop your sleigh and get under it and perform the necessary maneuvers and crunch your life away. Not immediately, though. No, that's too much to ask. I'm shrouded in billowy velvet, turning redder and abutted by my own beard. Don't make the deliveries yourself this year, Ms. Claus, a widower. She'll fawn over old pictures. Here's a riddle for you. Where is Santa from? Does my written speech have vowels? In what language am I thinking now? And how does all this relate to the spirit of Christmas? Mull it over as sled skis crush my jolly thighs. I would go to malls in secret and pretend to be a mall Santa. I'd slip in with the others and reek of peppermint. They have prescribed perfumes, though they don't call them that. I'd be myself and sweet and jolly, and if I ever stayed for longer than one shift, the mall would inevitably see an untenable boost in popularity. I always thought if I died on the job, I would die in a house, a home. I'd fall down the chimney or slip in the kitchen in the early hours of the morning. I've been shot in stand your ground states. I've been held at gunpoint too. I've been interrogated and arrested and sued. I've answered letters from schizotypal academics and smelled the hair of Finns. I've read entire libraries in half hours and crashed my sled in the deep dark of a 13th century glen where no man has stepped or ever will again. I've debated my own existence in the bathroom mirror of a future president. Take at least 3 of us with you and swallow your Luciferian pride. And I punished him for that because I will not be associated with the devil. I am religious, should you ask. It's especially important now. I'm losing a lot of blood. I suppose you're wondering how this happened. The sled was on a brick and, as you might understand, the vehicle is almost inconceivably heavy. It's certainly a physical impossibility. 800 physics textbooks written in 60 plus languages fail to account for what my sled can do at 1/8 capacity on the wee hours of Christmas morning. Too much for the brick, it turns out, and removing the tuft of evergreen caught between the skis would go from hard to impossible when I overextended myself and the heft of the beast went down. Scream, of course. I screamed like a creature from folklore. Ha! Very loud. I'm still very loud. The first time I was held at gunpoint was in the 16th century. Ha! I have, too, been shot from the sky, and now I'm pinned in northern Minnesota, too far from the North Pole. Of course, they know where I am. Technology flows to my home from forces hinted in Theogenes. There is a commercial component, but so small. No company pays for my likeness. My joviality runs before me through time. St. Nicholas is a different entity, though I swear I love him so. Goodness, I can't reach the Santa phone. Isn't that funny? You install it, and you never wind up using it. Then when the emergency arrives, you can't reach. By my calculations, it will take eras to die, or at least 2 hours. There's a song playing on the radio. I want you to guess what it is. By my calculations, it has 2 minutes left. When I was young, I would watch mammoths walk in great circles on 24 plateau. I moved around a lot in youth. Remember great conifers and those who would climb them and jump from trunk to trunk. Remember the few who would miss and be crushed later under the runners of sleds. Remember alpine lowing and the first domestication of the reindeer. Of course, no man now living knows that reindeer were the first domesticates, no matter how much I insist upon this clear and self-evident fact. Since no legal system now active will understand the will I leave, I don't leave one. They'll know roughly to whom I want to give what. Any misses will be minor. I could write something now with the pen in my pocket. It's from the 50s, a surveyor's pen. One important fact oft missed, my modern interpretations of my role is that Santa takes things too. Go on the step, mother, in the Neolithic, and ask if the strangers that appear from the forest just leave presents. She'll set you straight. Even a professional father in Sacramento in the 90s, home from his collegiate basement, will tell you to leave out cookies. But it's still missed. I took this pen in lieu of cookies. I take much in lieu of much. I drop mythology in the human bloodstream, as do others. I have my forest retreats and soaring Arctic vistas. These dance before my eyes and mix with what I actually see. Would you believe I'm in a parking lot? It's abandoned, has been for a generation, but it feels like it used to. I delivered cigarettes to the Tsar in the old days. I delivered his illegitimate great-great-great-daughter a copy of Disney's Anastasia while she was in the States. Both her parents thought the other one bought it. Somewhere I'll die. There are lines on either side of me. I feel almost no pain. The thoughts are still rich and complicated, blood flow to my brain, fertile with oxygen. The old Saxonic word for sea was whale-road, spelled, of course, differently. I've always been a creature of words. I've always been a prowler and a burglar and a rich and petty thief. I leave things I need and take what I don't, and the story of my current distraction started before the memory of man. Ulfbert was my invention. Goodness, my hands are so warm in these white reddened gloves. I think in a tongue unconspiratorial. It is neither Hebrew nor German nor Yiddish nor English. I have no living relatives, though I share a species grudgingly. Pride is a weakness not confined to real humanity. I reel humanly in this parking lot and feel this sudden and inexplicable smallness. The first time this thing's ever settled with me, and I can see the husk of a building that was a Macy that contained a seat from which I, for one shining moment in 1973, surveyed a throng of anxious children. Krampus took the whale road to the mailroom of non-existence. He was gestured out by the mob with switches and confined to PG-13 horror and the steady click of verbal history. I've featured in many hallucinations. I'm starting to have my own. Goodness, I'm wrapped around my own life now, flowing. I don't love the pressure. There are so many latticework gardens on this planet, and such a percentage are studded with flowers. When I first saw a mammoth hunt, I knew my career would one day be over. I thought I'd be shot from the sky with a spear. It was the farthest thing anyone could throw. A decade for me is the winding of a watch, but there's something pooling in my big black boots. I've never used a desktop computer. I have them set that up for me. Have you ever seen The Santa Claus? I cried watching that, shook harder than I ever had. They kept making them too. I'm not incapable of irony, but I wouldn't want anyone to punish me for it. Miss Claus gets my last signed copy of that movie. The other two went on eBay. Tell me, you know where you're going. There is something walking on the highway in the middle of the cold and night. I feel him half a mile away. It's in the stirring of the chaos theoretical cold Christmas air. I could signal to him if I scream again. He'll divert his course and find out Santa is real. That would be a shock, but not unique among humans. Usually when people see me, they resign themselves to unbelief. It's a special mercy I provide, but now. He'd be unable to lift the sled. He'd probably freeze to death. I don't know why he's walking in this weather that would kill him. Probably he's not even real. I will, the unreal man, to wear a parka. People have survived so much worse in the Alps. By my calculations, he'll make it to the freeway exit in time, presuming he buckles down and sees nothing but that. So no more screaming or laughing now. Live. I've been through tougher scraps before. Merry Christmas.